Good morning everyone, welcome to the official YouTube channel of Officers Adda 24/7. So as you all know that we have already started the series of 50 days, 50 classes in which every session we are discussing a certain number of questions related to your particular topic of IFS. And all you know that 45 units are there are 4 modules, 45 units are there. Out of that we have completed 19 units, that is the module A and B have been completed. Now we have started module C, and in the module C we are right now we have already discussed the chapter 2021. Now we are going to discuss the chapter 22, that is the banking laws. Okay, so if I talk about the IIFS, module C and D covers the maximum part of your syllabus and it has a 60% weightage also. So how to prepare this? Make sure you understand the concept, because the C and D is all about conceptual understanding. Nothing is there. In the module A and B we have find out certain database questions was also there, but now if we talk about in the module C we have only conceptual understanding. Similarly for the module D we have a conceptual understanding. So do make sure you understand the concepts in this particular context. So the unit we have to cover, that is banking laws, Reserve Bank of India Banking Regulation Act. So to understand this, first of all let's understand a certain concept about this particular topic, and then we will continue with the your questions. Okay, so if I talk about banking sector has a certain type of laws, like we have a RBI Act which was introduced to establish RBI in 1934. Second, we have Banking Regulation Act, BR Act is there. It was introduced in the year 1949, that's the Banking Regulation Act. Then we have, apart from that, we have Negotiable Instrument Act 1881. And then after that we have your PSS, Payment and Settlement System Act 2007. So this is what we're talking about in case of your certain acts. These are the banking acts which we have, and all these acts have a different responsibility in the banking sector, in the banking business. Like RBI Act was introduced to establish RBI. BR Act was introduced to define the functions of the bank, the business of a banking. The Negotiable Instrument Act talks about the negotiable instrument of the country, and the last one, PSS Act, Payment and Settlement System Act, it talks about the payment and settlement system of the country. The retail payment system, the NEFT, RTGS, IMPS, NACH, UPI, everything comes under the PSS Act. So these are the 4 important acts of banking sector. Now if I talk about the Act is a very big document. Act talks about everything, each and everything, minimum to minimum thing will be defined under this particular act. So do we have to cover everything? No. We have to cover the specific sections which are very important to know. Like for example, if I am talking about RBI Act, in the RBI Act, I should know that the 2 sections are very important. What? The section 42.1 that talks about section 42.1 that talks about your what? It talks about your CRR. Second, I know that section 22, it talks about that RBI has the sole right to print all the denomination of the currencies except rupee 1. This is what the section 22 talks about. Now, if I talk about BR Act, in the BR Act, we have a certain important section like the section 24. It talks about SLR. Then we have a section 5B, it talks about the business of banking. We have section 6 that talks about the various form of businesses that can be performed by the bank. Section 8 and 9 talks about the prohibition of the function that cannot be performed by the bank. So these are the certain important acts. Apart from that, in the Negotiable Instrument Act, section 13 is important, section 456 is important, section 131 is important. So these are those. In the PSS Act, section 4 is very important. So these are the sections which are important, and that those sections are related to your syllabus that you have to cover. So do make sure when you are reading the laws are very big, but you have to find out which sections or which particular part of the law is very important. Okay, so this is which matters. Like in the law, it's not possible to read whole document of the law. You won't be able to cover the whole document of the law. That's why the specific sections, the specific points you have to remember under the law. Okay, now let's discuss this chapter with the form of question. And do remember, in the end of the session, I will be asking from all of you that how many answers you have given correct. So do count the answers here. First is saying when the Banking Regulation Act 1949 was made applicable to cooperative bank. So when the Banking Regulation Act was made applicable to cooperative banks. So we know that cooperative banks used to follow the Cooperative Societies Act, Society Cooperative Act they used to follow. But the Banking Regulation Act now covered the cooperative banks from which particular date? Is it 16th of March 1949? Is it 1st of April 1965? Is it 1st of March 1966? Or is it 1st of April 1966? What do you think? Which of the following is the date from when we have we have implemented the Banking Regulation Act for the cooperative banks? So right answer is from 1st of March 1966, the Banking Regulation Act was applicable to the cooperative banks. So the right answer is C option. Okay, right answer is C. Now next we have here the RBI Act 1934 is divided into dash chapters and dash schedules. So when we talk about RBI Act 1934, it is what? It is simply the dash chapter and dash schedules. RBI Act was introduced to establish RBI. Like what functions of RBI should be there, how RBI will work, what will be the rules and regulations about RBI on which RBI have to follow, the Central Board of Directors, the management, the capital, then the functions of the RBI, everything is defined under the RBI Act, right? So here if we talk about RBI has two schedules. That is Schedule 1, Schedule 2. But when it comes to the chapter, it has 5 chapters. So the right answer will be RBI Act have 5 chapters and 2 schedules. So that will be talking about chapter 5 talks about penalties, chapter 4 talks about general provision, chapter 3 talks about the central banking function, chapter 2 talks about the management, or I can say the capital and etc. of the bank, and the chapter 1st talks about the preliminary. Okay, so these are the 5 chapters and we have 2 schedules, that is Schedule 1 and Schedule 2. So right answer will be A option. Okay. Next question is talking about that the Central Board of Directors of RBI is required to meet at least dash times in a year. So when it comes to the Central Board of Directors, there should be total maximum 21 members, out of which 1 member will be governor, 4 members will be deputy governor, 4 members will come from local boards, 2 members will come from Ministry of Finance, and the remaining 10 members will be nominated by Government of India. So these are the total Board of Directors of Reserve Bank of India, or you can call it a Central Board of Directors of RBI. Clear? And how many times they have to meet minimum in a year? That is the right answer, 6. The right answer will be 6 times in a year the Central Board of Directors have to meet. And do remember there are 21 members in the Central Board of Directors, and the numbering I have given you. 1 governor, 4 deputy governor, 4 members from the local board, 2 members from the Ministry of Finance, then 10 members will be nominated by the Government of India. This is the Central Board of Directors of RBI. Okay, and they decide how RBI will work. Like RBI is the statutory body, RBI have its own act. So if I talk about RBI's 100% holding is with the Government of India. So can we say that RBI will work only on such a situation, whatever Government of India asks for? Obviously not. RBI take its own decision by itself, because RBI is a statutory body, because RBI has its own Act 1934. So the Central Board of Directors is the actual board which decides what RBI have to do, what RBI do not have to do. Okay, and that Central Board of Directors have 21 members. Now, which among the following is our correct feature of Banking Regulation Act? So out of the following, what do you think, which of the following is the feature of your Banking Regulation Act? So 5 features have been written here. Out of that, which you have to tell which of the following is correct. So first is saying prohibition of banking companies from accepting deposit repayable on demand. Is it possible? Like if I talk about business of banking, the business of banking says the banks have to accept deposit from public for the purpose of lending or investment, and that should be repayable on the demand. And it is saying that Banking Regulation Act has a feature that banking companies cannot accept deposit. It can't be true. This is wrong. Second is saying prohibition of trading to eliminate the non-banking risk. This is true. We have said that we have to eliminate the non-banking risk. This is true. Third is saying restricting the payments of dividend. How you can restrict the payment of dividend? If you have a shareholders, you have to make the payment to them. If you are not making the dividend payment to the shareholders, they will not invest in your company, in your bank. So it cannot be right. Inclusion the scope of legislation of banks registered outside the province of India. This is true. Introduction of comprehensive system of licensing of banks and their branches. This is also true. So these are the true options. It means second, fourth and fifth, they are correct feature of your Banking Regulation Act 1949. So the right answer will be your D option, second, fourth and fifth. Right answer will be your D option, second, fourth and fifth. Clear? Next question is talking about which of the following sections provide a list of various forms of businesses which a banking company may do in addition to the business of banking. So when we talk about business of banking have three features. First, what we can call, first we have accept deposit from the public for the purpose of lending or investment, and the third one, last one, will be your simply repayable on the demand of the customer. It will be done. But apart from that, bank provide demat account, bank provide insurance policy, mutual fund, etc, etc, etc. So bank is providing all these services to the customers, right? So all these services are the various form of business that banks provide to the customer. So it is defined under which section? Section 5, 6, 7 or none of the above? Under which section it is defined? Let me know. Section 5, 6, 7 or none of the above. So right answer is section 6. Section 6 talks about the various forms of businesses that is provided by bank. So right answer will be your B option, section 6. And section 5B talks about the business of banking. Next. In which year did the Reserve Bank of India commence its business? So when RBI started its business, that's the question is asking. So we have these options. So let me know which of the following is true. If I talk about RBI's history, it is important for us. So first of all, in 1926, Hilton-Young Commission was introduced. This commission is also known as Royal Commission on Indian Currency. This is the first commission which recommended that we should have a central bank of the country. In the 1928, this Hilton-Young Commission was rejected in 1928, and then in 1930, we got the Central Bank Investigation Committee. Okay, in 1934, RBI Act was established. RBI Act was established, and in 1935, 1st of April, RBI was established. Okay, RBI established in the year 1935, 1st of April. The date is 1st of April. But when RBI was established, the government of India was needed 5 crores capital. The initial capital of RBI was 5 crore. So we needed the 5 crore capital to establish the central bank of the country, but we didn't have this capital. So what government did? Government has issued the shares of RBI to the public, and public purchased the shares. So that's why when the RBI was established on the 1st April 1935, it was the private shareholders bank. It was what? It was the private shareholders bank. RBI was the private shareholders bank. Clear? And then on 1st of January 1949, nationalization of RBI was done. Nationalization of RBI was done. Okay. So on 1st January, nationalization of RBI was done. Why it was done? Just because if we talk about RBI is the central bank of the country. It had the ownership of the public, like person like me and you was the owner of the RBI because we have purchased the share. So that's why Government of India has purchased 100% shares of the RBI. And after doing that, RBI became the government's bank on the 1st January 1949. So when RBI started its business, RBI started its business in the 1935 year. So all these years regarding the RBI establishment is important. So do remember these. These are very important. Next, so right answer is 1935. Next we have Section 4 of RBI Act. Which section? Section 4 of RBI Act 1934 talks about dash of RBI, and the initial capital of RBI was dash. So I think second dash answer to I have given to you, that initial capital was the 5 crore of RBI. Now, what does section 4 talks about? That you have to answer. Now you can see what I did. I have maintained the initial capital value same, so that you will be confused. Like if there will be only one 5 option, then you will be answering that particular option only. But now you have to answer, is it management, capital, central banking function, right to issue banknotes? So the right answer is capital. The section 4 of RBI Act 1934, it talks about the capital of the RBI, and the initial capital of RBI was 5 crore. How much the initial capital? It was the 5 crores. Okay, so right answer is your B option, that is 5 crores. Next, under which act is RBI empowered to be a banker to the government of India? So we know RBI is the central bank of our country, and RBI has a lot of function like banker to the banks, banker to the government of India, lender of last resort, manager of foreign exchange reserve, manager of KYC NPA, issuer of currency. Apart from that, formulates the monetary policy, it regulates the money market. So all these are the functions of RBI. Right. So one of the function is banker to the government of India. So why RBI is a banker to the government of India? Because RBI manages the reserve, the funds of the government, the budget of the government. RBI maintain the mismatch between the revenue and expenses of government of India. If there is some kind of mismatch, like expenditure is more than income, in that situation RBI gives loan to the government of India. Apart from that, RBI also sells the government security of government of India. So that's why we can say RBI is the banker to the government of India, because RBI works as an agent for the government of India, right? That is what we're talking about here. So this function, that RBI is an agent of government of India, it is defined under which act? It can't be Banking Regulation Act, because this talks about the functions of bank. Negotiable Instrument Act talks about the negotiable instruments only. Public debt talks about the public debt capital of the government. Then RBI Act, because RBI's function is the banker to the government of India. RBI has its one of the function that RBI is a banker to the government of India. It means under the RBI Act it will be defined. So right answer is A. Okay, next question. Now, according to section 8 and 9, which of the following is the prohibited function of the banks? So first of all, which act we are talking about here? It's very simple. You are talking about the prohibited function of bank. The functions of banks are defined under the Banking Regulation Act 1949. Okay, because Banking Regulation Act it is now. What bank will do, that is defined under the Banking Regulation Act. So first is, no banking company shall directly or indirectly deal in the buying or selling or bartering of goods or engage in any trade. Okay. No banking company shall buy or sell or barter goods for others. Okay. Next, no banking company shall hold any immovable property, howsoever acquired for more than 7 years from the acquisition thereof. However, it can hold any immovable property that is required for its own use. So what do you think? All are correct. You cannot purchase or sell. You cannot deal in the trade. You cannot purchase or sell you cannot become a mediator for the barter goods. You cannot hold any immovable property, howsoever, which is acquired for more than 7 years. Okay, from the acquisition thereof. So all these three functions, all these three statements are the prohibited function of a bank that cannot be performed by the bank. So right answer is D, that is all. All are the prohibited functions of a bank. It cannot be performed by any bank. Okay, now, in which year the RBI was converted into a public entity? In which particular year RBI was converted into a public entity? Let me know. Public entity means government's entity. Public is not like individual person's entity. No. Public, when you use a term public in the economy, it represents you a state. It represents you, or not the state, but the government. One second. A state means obviously you can call it a state, or either you can call it a government. So when RBI became the government body, it became government body on 1st of January 1949. Because on that day we have done the nationalization of RBI. Right answer is D. Okay. So this is how we have discussed the Banking Regulation Act as well as RBI Act. These are the banking laws. These are what? These are the banking laws that we have discussed. Now, in this particular chapter, what you have to do make sure you are not mugging up all the sections of the act. No, you have to go with the detailed but a limited sections. Okay, but what are those sections? How to know that? For that, you have to go to the Adda 24/7 application first of all. Do download the application, and after downloading the application, you have to go to the Adda 24/7 application. Then do go to the JAIIB CIB section here. When you go to the JAIIB CIB section, you will find the JAIIB October batches here. So you can see the Mahapack and the Sankalp batches, everything is available on the website. Whatever you feel like, you can enroll in. So let's say you want to enroll in the Mahapack. So first of all, do check the offering of a product. And the offerings are live classes, test series, e-books, video courses, topic-wise test series, full-length mock test. Apart from that, you will have Maha marathons, mini marathons in the Mahapack, and the validity will be double for 6 and 12 months. 6 plus 6, 12 plus 12. And the 3 months Mahapack is also available. So after checking the offerings of the product and the validity, let's say for example, you want to go with the validity of 3 months, click on the 3, 12 plus 12 and 6 plus 6. It depends on you, and the price will be different in all the validities. Okay. Then after doing that, click on the apply option, that is code, important code, that is MOON80. This MOON80 code will provide you 80% discount. If you want 1% additional discount, just go to the application, use the coins and then purchase the product, that is your coins. Okay, so out of this, you will get 1% additional discount. 6 plus 6 validity, it means 1 year validity will be available to you. Okay, how much validity? 1 year validity will be available to you. So do check all these things. All these things are available on the website. Also, do make sure you check the validity you want, because each validity have a different prices. If you find any kind of doubt at the time of enrollment or any kind of problem at the time of enrollment, you can call on this number. They will resolve your query. Okay, after that, if you have done all these things, then you can join the live classes, the conceptual classes, and the YT sessions you already are joining. About YT session, I will let you know. Monday to Friday, we are having a 50 days, 50 classes. Okay. On Saturday, we have a live sessions, that is weekly revision sessions. And on Sunday, we have a special sessions in which 50 minutes, 50 question, or let's say, for example, I can say, we are having the questions regarding your master classes or rapid fire quiz, something kind like this we are introducing on every Sunday. Special sessions will be there. To join all these sessions, Monday to Friday, Saturday weekly revision, or the Sunday special classes, what you have to do subscribe the channel Officers Adda 24/7. Okay, so subscribe this channel, press the bell icon so that all the upcoming sessions notification will be given to you. Do not forget to do that. Okay, apart from that, also remember that if you have any doubt, you can ask in the comment section, and also how many questions you have answered correct, do let me know that also in the comment section, so that all the questions and everything which you have worried about, you will be letting me know, and I will be helping you there. Okay, so this is all for today. Let's end the session here. See you all tomorrow at the same time, only on Officers Adda 24/7. So thank you for joining this session, and take care everyone. Have a good day.